In my years as a therapist working with anxiety, I've discovered there's something very important. The most effective techniques aren't complicated. They're simple, practical tools that anyone can learn. Today, I'm going to share 4 powerful anxiety management tools that have helped thousands of my clients transform their relationship with anxiety. This isn't just a theory. I'll show you exactly how to use each with clear demonstrations so you can follow along with me today. These steps are designed to be practical, actionable, and effective in managing those overwhelming sensations that often accompany anxiety. Remember, I'm not just saying this as a professional, but someone who's walked the path personally. The first tool is deceptively simple, yet neuroscientifically proven. Name it to tame it. When you actually label your emotions, research shows that it actually reduces the activity within your amygdala, your brain's fear center. It's like turning down the volume on your anxiety. Here's how to do it. Notice the physical sensations in your body. Number 2, pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Number 3, label it specifically. This is anxiety. Or even better, this is anxiety about my performance review. Number 4, say it out loud or write it down if possible. Let me demonstrate this with a real example. I notice my heart is racing. My thoughts are spinning about everything that could go wrong within my presentation. This is anxiety about public speaking. This is my nervous system trying to protect me. What makes it most powerful is it engages your prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, which regulates your emotional brain. When should we use this? As soon as you notice anxiety in the beginning, before it escalates, is the best time. One client described this technique as turning on the lights in a dark room. The scary shapes are still there, but they're just clothes and chairs, not monsters. The second tool is grounding, specifically the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Anxiety often pulls you into worries about the future or ruminations about the past. Grounding anchors you firmly in the present moment by engaging your 5 senses. Let me show you how to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Number 1, name 5 things you see right now. I see my desk lamp. I see a blue book on a shelf. I see patterns on my coffee mug. I see a tree outside my window. And I see a picture frame on my desk. Number 2 is name 4 things that you can touch or feel. That means you can feel the smoothness of a pen, or you can feel the texture of your shirt, the coolness of a glass of water, or the softness of a cushion, like your chair. Number 3, name 3 things you can hear. I can hear humming of my computer, birds chirping outside the window. I can hear the clock ticking. Number 4, name 2 things that you can smell. I can smell tea from my cup, and I can smell the candle on my desk. Number 5, name 1 thing that you can taste. I can taste the mint from my tea. How does this work? This technique forces your brain to collect data from your immediate environment rather than getting lost in those anxious thoughts. It's impossible to fully engage with your senses and get lost in anxiety at the same time. So when should you use it? When you feel disconnected from your surroundings, when anxiety feels overwhelming, or when you feel like you need to bring yourself back to the present moment quickly. One client keeps a small card with 5, 4 written on it inside her wallet to remind her to use this technique whenever anxiety strikes and she's in public. Tool number 3, challenging those thought patterns. The third tool addresses the thinking patterns that fuel anxiety, thought challenging. Anxiety thrives on 3 common thinking distortions: catastrophizing, assuming the worst will happen; mind reading, assuming you know what others think; black and white thinking, seeing situations as all good or all bad. Let's say you have the thought, my presentation is a disaster and everyone's going to think I'm incompetent. Step 1, identify the thought pattern. This is catastrophizing and mind reading. Step 2, examine the evidence. What evidence do I have that this will even happen? I've given successful presentations before. Some have gone better than others, but none have been disasters. Step 3, consider alternative perspective. Most people focus on their own work, not judging mine. Even if I make mistakes, people generally understand. Step 4, create a balanced thought. This may mean that you will say something to yourself along the lines of, I might be nervous during my presentation and it may not be perfect, but I'm prepared and it will go fine. Even if I make mistakes, it doesn't mean I'm incompetent. This technique doesn't ask you to be blindly positive. Instead, it helps you look at the situation more accurately and completely, which naturally reduces anxiety. So when should you use it? When you notice specific anxiety thoughts that seem extreme or emotional. This works best when you're not in the height of anxiety. Use the grounding tool first if needed. A client once shared this with me. I thought I had been letting my anxiety write the horror scripts about my life for years. This technique taught me that I can be a better editor of those scripts. So now we're going to move on to tool number 4, the nervous system regulation. The 4th tool targets the physical experience of anxiety directly with box breathing for nervous system regulation. So hi guys, I realized I made a big mistake when I was making this video, so I wanted to come on and make sure that everyone knows that it's a full body experience that is based from your autonomic system. I had the hardest time saying autonomic. I don't know why, but I just added it in. So I'm just trying new things. Thanks. Bye. Box breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural calming system. So right now I'm going to guide you through a demonstration of being able to box breathe. You will inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, and then you hold your breath for a count of 4. Then you exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 4. Then you empty your lungs for a count of 4. And you repeat this cycle 3 to 5 times. Why does this work? The extended exhale and the holding pattern of the exhaling are particularly effective in stimulating your vagus nerve, which controls your relaxation response. The counting also gives your mind something specific to focus on. So when to use it? This technique works anytime, anywhere. Use it before anxiety-provoking situations, during moments of stress, or as a daily practice to build resiliency. I have one client who practices box breathing at red lights while driving, turning up any potential stress trigger into a reminder to regulate. So these 4 tools work best when they're used together in a system. Number 1, name it to recognize what's happening. Number 2, ground yourself with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to return to the present. Number 3, challenge those anxious thoughts that fuel anxiety. And number 4, regulate your nervous system with box breathing. The key is practice here. It's just like learning a new skill. The tools become effective and automatic with regular use. I recommend starting just with one technique, whichever resonates with you most, and practice it daily for a week before adding others. Remember, managing anxiety isn't about eliminating it completely. It's about having tools to respond differently when it appears. These techniques have helped thousands of my clients, not because they're complex, but because they're practical and addresses anxiety at all levels, physical, mental, and emotional. So I appreciate you joining me for my video. In the comments below, let me know which of these 4 tools you're going to try first. And if you've already used any of them, share your experience. Believe me, your insight might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear. If you found this helpful, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Next week and the following weeks, I'm going to be doing more videos on helping folks obtain mental wellness. Until then, remember, you're not defined by your anxiety. And with the right tools, it doesn't have to control your life. Take care. Tea with Tiffany.